imperative that we take clear, unified action across all levels of government.
Federal government urges secretaries of state governments to explore innovative solutions towards policy coordination and implementation.
We continue to collaborate with international television networks.
NTA partners, Chinese activists against gender-based violence see collective fights across all tiers of governments. Hello and welcome to the news desk at 6 on Nta News24. We're live in Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunle. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, has urged secretaries of state governments to explore innovative solutions to enhance policy coordination and implementation in their various states. This was at the first meeting between the SGF and secretaries of state governments. The SGF notes that the theme for the program, which is improving policy coordination and implementation for national development, the roles of secretaries to the government of states, is timely and critical to the nation's growth. Effective policy coordination and implementation, he says, are essential for achieving set goals in national development.
Is more critical than ever, as Nigeria navigates a complex array of social, economic, environmental, and security challenges. It is imperative that we take clear, unified action across all levels of government.
Policy implementation and the roles of secretaries.
Former Senate President Ayim Pius Ayim and other speakers emphasized the importance of synergy and cooperation between national and subnational entities to foster harmony and development. Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has called for a strategic shift in the registration of significant life events such as birth registrations for every Nigerian child, for them to have a name and a nationality recognized under the law. She made the call at the official launch of the Renewed Hope Initiative project to accelerate birth registration at scale in the country. The project, in partnership with the National Population Commission and development partners, aims to mobilize leadership and political commitment from critical stakeholders to ramp up birth registration, leveraging community participation and technology. The First Lady, who presented commemorative birth certificate to babies under age 5 at the ceremony, highlights the significance of the exercise for national planning, realization of sustainable development goals, and fundamental human rights of the Nigerian child.
To all parents, birth registration is vital. It is the child's legal proof of identity as a Nigerian, without which children would not be fully recognized by the government. They could miss out on government's provision on health care, education, and other social amenities. Without a birth certificate, children will be unable to prove their age, and this puts them at a great disadvantage. I therefore encourage all parents to register the birth of their children, obtain authentic birth certificates recognized by the government.
This indeed is a great opportunity to scale up our mandate to ensure that every birth, every death, every significant civil event is recorded accurately and promptly, forming the foundation upon which legal identity is established.
Activists against gender-based violence have called for a collective fight across all tiers of government against the scourge of gender-based violence. Discussing ways to address the scourge on Good Morning Nigeria, the guest commended Nigeria's First Lady Oluremi Tinubu for her bold strides towards fighting the menace. Kimmy Williams reports.
Gender-based violence is a subject of great concern at international, regional and national levels. Despite government efforts to address the challenge, it persists and its impact poses both physical and mental effects on individuals and humanity at large. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria noted that Nigeria is a signatory to a number of international and regional treaties and also have national and legal framework to protect its citizens against gender-based violence, but said there is need to generate more citizen awareness and collaboration among all tiers to ensure implementation.
Structural violence is institutional. For instance, we have a decay in the health sector. We have decay in the educational sector. We have even issues with food insecurity. So the lack of responsibility on the part of leaders, state actors, to ensure the needs and priorities of citizens are met in itself is violence.
Identifying solutions and actions and also engaging communities to foster sustainable change.
The discussants, however, noted over 20 million girls in Nigeria experience gender-based violence before adulthood and attributed factors such as poverty and unemployment to the menace. They advocated stiff penalties for offenders and encouraged women to cultivate the culture of self-sustainability.
And they believe that it sits within the notions of purity, modesty, and social acceptance. So people get their daughters mutilated because they want that social acceptance.
They also urged participants of the first Gender and Social Norms Summit, organized by the United Nations Population Fund, in collaboration with the Renewed Hope Initiative, the pet project of the First Lady, to trickle the lessons learned to their constituents. In Abuja, Kemini Williams, Nta News.
The Defence Headquarters is developing policies to promote gender inclusivity in the armed forces and ensure the protection of women during crises. Defence correspondent Ismail Musa reports on the engagements at the second edition of the Defence Headquarters annual Gender Conference.
Women constitute more than 110 million of Nigeria's population and form the nucleus of the family. Despite their importance, women are sometimes relegated in the society and most times vulnerable during crisis. This second edition of the Defence Headquarters Annual Gender Conference aims to mainstream women, peace and security agenda for enhanced operations in the armed forces of Nigeria.
Women bring unique perspectives and solutions to the table, contributing significantly to peacekeeping and conflict resolution. It is imperative that we harness these potentials within our own armed forces.
Today, we gather to acknowledge the vital role that women play in maintaining peace and security. We recognize that their contributions are not limited to the traditional gender roles.
And empower women and girls.
The conference will also address gender issues in national security, defense and promote an armed forces that is more gender responsive.
I am extremely pleased that the Nigerian woman now has been accorded the rights of place in a male-dominated career and given it free.
I don't have in a much more way to high positions in the military, but then you can take this together, empower what you're doing, with the expert officials working with you, particular officials gender.
The second edition of Defence Headquarters Gender Magazine was made public at the event. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, Nta News.
The directive by the Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, to all air components commanders to intensify operations against terrorists and other criminal elements in the country have started yielding results. The latest being the successful air interdiction by the air components of Operation Hadinkai to blow out remnants of terrorists hiding in the Tumbuns near Lake Chad. The Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force, Air Vice Marshal Edward Gapquet, says the operation was made possible following the forced migration of remnant terrorists to higher and drier grounds after their enclaves became flooded and exposed due to persistent rain in the area in recent days. The Nigerian Air Force conducted intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance missions over the location on the 22nd 24th and 26th August, which revealed several terrorists with some of their salvaged belongings tucked within 4 makeshift accommodations, some concealed under trees and thick vegetation. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency is upholding and rewarding hard work as 8 officers were promoted for distinguishing themselves in the line of duty. Daniel Adiri tells us more.
It feels like a movie, but it is not. It is a clip showing the heroics of men of the Marine Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, braving through the aquatic elements and dead of night to clamp down on a drug smuggler. The result, the seizure and apprehension of 60 bags of Canadian loud. As it is often said, a workman is deserving of his wages, but more importantly, a hard-working man is deserving of a good reward. These officers who have distinguished themselves in the line of duty are here to be rewarded for bravery in the face of adversity.
It is in recognition of their gallantry that we are here today. I give them special accelerated promotion to the next ranks, and also, in addition to decorating them with their new ranks, I would present them with the Chairman's Commendation Awards.
The newly promoted officers, beaming with pride and joy, are simply grateful for the opportunity to serve.
We are very much happy for the Chairman to consider to award us with a new rank. It's something that we are grateful. That shows and demonstrates the level of our hard work, that hard work actually pays.
Sincerely, we never expected this, and as it is right now, we are more motivated.
In Abuja, Daniel Adiri, Nta News.
In other news, Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps Shehu Mohammed has launched a comprehensive capacity building program leading to the training of 1,646 personnel across the cadres and the graduation of 20 junior officers. Speaking during the graduation of the junior course participants in Udi, the Corps Marshal, represented by Deputy Corps Marshal Training Shidi Okwanta, maintained that the capacity building program is designed to empower staff with the latest skills, knowledge and best practices in road safety management, noting that by investing in personnel, the Corps is definitely investing in the future of road safety in Nigeria. This initiative, he says, underscores the Corps Marshal's commitment to positioning the FRSC as a leading road safety agency equipped to address the complex challenges of modern road safety management. The various training programs will feature a combination of the theoretical and practical training sessions, workshops and mentoring conducted by in-house and international experts. Watching the news desk at 6 on Nta News24, we'll take a short break. More reports in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. The Nigerian Television Authority, in collaboration with a Chinese media group, is working on the production of a television series that will tell the Chinese story in the Hausa language. This was at the launch of the project at the Chinese Cultural Center in Abuja. Nta News24 reports.
That signals the birth of the program Kwadumbarka in Hausa language, meaning Traverse China with me. It is a co-production between NTA and CMG that will see the TV crew visiting various remarkable places in the People's Republic of China, with narrations in Hausa language by Nigerian presenters. For the Director General of NTA, Sahiu Abdulhamid Dembos, represented by the General Manager NTA Hausa, the program is part of NTA's policy of promoting Nigerian languages.
The Nigerian Television Authority, the largest television network in Africa, will continue to collaborate with the international television networks to promote and foster global unity and peace.
The fluency of the CMG delegation in Hausa language demonstrated the impact of cultural exchanges between both countries.
They travel different places in China, and they experience different cultural, different works, and they meet different ethnic groups in China to show how Chinese get progress. So we make this TV show, and we're broadcasting NTA now.
I think film and television are most vivid form of telling good stories. So why don't we work together to tell good stories about China and Nigeria through co-production?
The partners say better understanding of cultures of both countries will open doors of opportunities to citizens. In Abuja, Nta News24, NTA News.
National President of the Natural Oil and Gas Suppliers Association of Nigeria, Bennett Korie, has applauded the directive by President Bola Tinubu to sell crude oil to indigenous refineries in the country in Naira. Lydia Sampson reports that the Nogasa president also spoke on other pressing issues considered to be critical to the industry.
Supply chain has been in the news due to various challenges. Nogasa president says, as critical industry players, it is pertinent to brief journalists on the need for concerted actions across the value chains.
It's time for us to say goodbye to Statue Product. We cannot say we have petroleum, we have crude oil in Nigeria, we have refineries, and we're suffering. So it's time for us to say goodbye. And I'm sure Dangote will keep his promise, and other refineries will keep to their promise by September, as they promised. And I'm sure with this, from September next month, Nigeria should experience what they call free flow of petroleum products all over the country.
He emphasized the need to nip smuggling in the bud, prioritize agriculture to curb inflation, as well as proactively eliminate multiple taxation, which he believes contributes to inflation.
Today, the government decided to say, okay, we want to make food available. We are going to pay 100,000 to workers that will work at the farm as salary. You know what? You will not see anybody looking for work in government office. Everybody will go to farm. You farm, I farm, you farm. 10 of us farm. I will bring our goods to the market. The price will do what? Go down. If you pay somebody 70,000 naira a month and he's buying rice for 5,000 naira, it will sustain him. So the inflation will do what? Disappear.
He commended the Dangote refinery for what he described as monumental contribution to the oil and gas industry, stressing that benefits will not supply complexities with ripple effect on the economy. He affirmed that though government is doing a lot to revive the economy across sectors, challenges to roads network must continuously be tackled for seamless transportation. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
President Nigeria Labour Congress Joseph Ajero says he was questioned about a particular tenant at the Labour House complex and asked to leave. Ajero was speaking to a cheery crowd of NLC members at the Labour House after he returned from the office of the Deputy Commissioner of Police Intelligence Response Team.
We are more patriotic than any other institution you can think of in this country. And we are going to continue to do that. We have gone there and we are back. I just want to confirm to you that as a citizen, I've gone there and we are back here. So, and you can't do this job we are doing without this type of hazard.
They said that the NLC president, we just want to ask him one or two questions related to the tenant that is here. And it's just it. So that doesn't mean that we're going to relent.
The NLC president was invited by the Office of the Police over the allegations, and the leadership of the NLC had earlier appealed to the Nigeria Police Force to give it more time to consult with its lawyers before Joseph Ajero honours the invitation. The union says the police granted the request, setting 29th of August for the NLC president to answer the invitation. Biosafety technology in Nigeria is described as crucial for several reasons, particularly given the country's need to balance the agricultural development, environmental protection and public health. This was the submission of speakers at a workshop by the National Biosafety Management Agency in collaboration with the United States Department of Agriculture on agricultural biosafety biotech communication. Steve Lonoy and Marco reports.
Biosafety technology refers to the set of practices, technologies and policies designed to ensure that the development, use and release of genetically modified organisms, GMOs, and other biotechnological products are safe for humans, animals, plants, and the environment. The Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the National Biosafety Management Agency, EDMA, Dr. Agnes Yemisi Asabra, gives an overview of Nigeria's biosafety system.
For safety measures in the application of modern and emerging biotechnology, the only thing is that in certain times you have to domesticate them so that it can fall in line with what is happening in each country of practice.
The United States Department of Agriculture, USDA, Councillor Chris Brelecki, amongst other speakers, enlightened the participants on the national, international regulatory framework on biosafety and misconceptions surrounding the GMOs.
But aside from that, just in May we sent different groups to the United States, Nigerian business folks, scientists, government regulators to the United States to participate in exchange programs. So in May we had 2 programs from Nigeria where we invited Nigerians to go to the United States to work in universities.
And what the scientists say? What is the consensus of scientists on this issue?
The strategic communication training is aimed at equipping influencers and reporters on the modus of reporting biosafety and biotech regulations in the country. In Abuja, Steve Lonai Nwaokolo, Nta News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima will on Monday, 2nd September, turn 58 years old, marking another landmark moment for him to reflect and engage how much ground he has covered in the course of his stewardship to the nation and its people as a leader and public servant. In a statement by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Communications, Stanley Mkwacha, the Vice President has appealed to fellow compatriots, associates and numerous well-wishers across the country to resist the desire to place congratulatory birthday advertisements on pages of newspapers or utilize paid channels to convey their wishes and greetings. He implores family members, friends and associates who may wish to place goodwill messages as advertisements to donate the funds to charity organisations and vulnerable citizens instead. The statement adds that it aligns with the commitment of the renewed hope administration of President Bola Tinubu to addressing issues of development and economic growth, as well as improving the living conditions of Nigerians. And that concludes the news desk at 6 on Nta News24. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adegunloye.
Information with no verifiable source presented as true story on media platforms with the sole intention of causing injuries, chaos, and disaffection between persons, groups, or countries. Fake news facilitates extremism. Fake news creates panic and distrust. Fake news